Okay, let's start. Thank you all for coming. I'm the co-founder of Frontier Tower, and I'm incredibly excited to actually share some big news with you today. And you might have already seen in Thomas' keynote, which was happening on Monday, that he already teased it a little bit. So thank you all for coming and actually celebrating with me the announcement. And but what it is, it actually a project which we've done together with the Ethereum Foundation, is we had like one question which we were asking ourselves, and this is where do we go where we want to build when we want to build on Ethereum? So currently there is not a single place where you can go. There is no embassy. There is no single place where you can go. There is not even a city which is recognized for having a lot of Ethereans there. Maybe it is in Berlin, but I've been in Berlin for a very long time, and it is hard as a new time builder to actually get plugged in. So even here, when you are here at the conference at ETHCC, and you really want to build on Ethereum, there are a lot of people which you need to ask to actually get to the right ones. And so what we have thought about is to actually give Ethereum a new home. So this is an announcement which we have done together with the Ethereum Foundation, which basically is a local hub for Ethereum builders, researchers, founders, and investors in San Francisco. In Silicon Valley, where like all of the AI breakthroughs are happening. And it's actually happening at Frontier Tower, my project, which I just recently launched. So to give you a little bit of a sense of like how, in my opinion, groundbreaking this is, I want to actually tell you a little bit more about what Frontier Tower is. So Frontier Tower is a tower, and it's in San Francisco, and it's already standing. It's not something which is a dream. It's not something which we are planning to do, an announcement of an announcement. It is happening. And we started with the idea in around September 2024, where we thought to ourselves like, hey, this would be cool to build something like that. I was at a pop-up village at Zoo Village, Georgia, actually, and really loved the spirit where AI people, Ethereum people, biotech people came together and lived together for 1 month. And so I thought to myself, why don't we do something like that in the cities where we actually live in, and not only do it temporary, but do it in a permanent way? So we went out and we just bought a tower. So we finished the transaction on April the 1st. It was not an April Fool's joke. And we actually didn't really try to build everything out and make everything perfect to let people in. No, we said like, hey, let's take the Ethereum spirit and let's build in public. So we opened our gates on April 6th to let people in. So the tower is in the heart of San Francisco. It has around 100,000 square feet. For those who don't know square feet, it's 10,000 square meters, more or less. We have around 300 citizens, which said like, "Hey, we want to be part of this amazing journey." We have 9 themes, which I will tell you a little bit more about, and on around 16 floors. So we have 16 floors, and the 12th floor is entirely dedicated to Ethereum. This is what the whole post was about Ethereum Foundation. And we have even created a new brand. We called it Ethereum House, for a place for builders and researchers to come and work together. And the coolest thing, what I think about that, it's not an isolation. It's not somewhere in a place, in an ivory tower where only people can come who are have been in the ecosystem for 7 years. No, this is embedded. This is for everyday builders who want to come and build. And Ethereum is not the only floor. There are other frontier technologies like AI, longevity, biotech, neurotech. We have a makerspace. We have robotics. So every floor has a different theme, and I think what makes it all really special is the cross-pollination part of it. So every technology works with the other technology to actually come up with novel ideas. This is what we need, and this is something which not only San Francisco needs, but a lot of other cities. And so people always ask me, is like, so is it an accelerator? I'm like, no. Is it a coffee shop? Because like, you know, like you have a lot of coffee in your tower. I'm like, no, it's not a coffee shop. Is it a co-working or a restaurant, a third space? Is it co-living? I'm like, no, it's also not a co-living and it's also not a library. So what is it? What is what we've built? And we call it a self-governed vertical village for frontier technologies. So, you know, it's a lot to unpack. But basically, you have to imagine yourself like a village. Imagine a village, a small village of around 10,000 people. What is there out there and what is in a village? Of course, there's a restaurant there. Of course, there's a coffee shop there. Of course, there's a library there and some places where you can live. And also work, because work is, you know, still, at least until AI takes our jobs away, it is a part of our human nature. And so this is a vertical village what we are creating, but with a theme. And the theme is frontier technologies. And we want to make it self-governed. So it's not something which, you know, is the new WeWork where, you know, Adam Newman at the top is coming and like deciding every single thing. We want to build on the values which we've learned and appreciated within the Ethereum ecosystem. And so you might think like, this is great, you know, and now we have a place in San Francisco, but what about New York? What about Austin? What about, you know, Cannes or Paris or, you know, Tokyo, Hong Kong? What about this? And this is something which I'm, you know, incredibly excited about, because what we are building is not a single place, it's a protocol. And so what we are creating is using the San Francisco tower, using as a blueprint to build an intercity network society. So, you know, now it's something where it's like, okay, wait a second. So it's not only a tower, so you're trying to expand this thing. And I'm like, yeah. And we try to expand it really aggressively. And we try to expand it to 10 towers next year, to about 100 towers the year after, and to around 13 million citizens by the end of 2028. Am I crazy? Maybe, maybe not. But this is something which we are really, you know, trying to take really extreme goals to force ourselves to make this whole thing in a way to scale physical spaces as fast as you can scale technology. So how do we get there? And this is again a parallel which we are taking from the Ethereum ecosystem. We are taking inspiration from the rollup-centric roadmap to actually scale the blueprint which we're building in San Francisco right now, which is open, which is accessible, where you can come and visit, to get this around the world. And you know, the Ethereum rollup-centric roadmap has a lot of critiques, but I think that it actually has been incredibly successful, as we've seen also with the last announcement from Robinhood and Arbitrum. So how do we do this? How do we get to around so many places around the world? So we share the value. So we share the value with real estate owners who want to participate, who have a tower. There's currently lots of vacant place. So this is something which a lot of people can come and say like, hey, you know, I have a vacant tower. Can't we just, you know, collaborate? We share it with community leads. Community leads which actually get 20%, I think the numbers are wrong here, 20%, and the tower leads get around 10%, and the Frontier DAO, which is hopefully taking place, but you know, no commitment on this part yet. We are still in the research phase, is something where which will get around 20%. So we will be able to get through a modular approach where we share the value to a much quicker growth. And the coolest thing is that already now, like only after 2 months, people are reaching out from Tokyo, from Hong Kong, from Buenos Aires and saying like, hey, I have a community, I have real estate, I want to be part of this thing. So we have a credible chance of actually making this thing work. I can tell you more about Frontier Tower and how we are doing that, but basically this is something which is a talk about Ethereum and the first physical space in Ethereum and the potential thereafter. So I want to leave you with one thought here. Is imagine a world where Ethereum is deeply interconnected with other frontier technologies, and it's happening not only in one city, but around the globe. Imagine 1,000 cities. How fast could we actually scale Ethereum this way when we get builders, researchers in one physical room? If you want to support what we are building, apply for founding citizenship on frontiertower.io, become a founding sponsor of Ethereum House SF, the new brand which we created, and is now also being sponsored by Starknet, also Altlayer, and I think Consensus also confirmed right now. So get in as a founding sponsor, share Ethereum's posts on X, make builders aware that we are here. This is something important because we need to involve all of the community. Without the community, there is no place for the community. And yeah, if you're gonna get involved on your own, just message me on Telegram, Jakob with a K and 3 Bs, or just message me or just send me an email. Thank you so much.